Have you ever felt your heart skip, tighten, or flutter during a stressful moment and wondered if it was something more than nerves? A patient of mine once shared that exact feeling. She said she could walk for miles without a problem, but one uncomfortable conversation with her daughter left her heart racing so fast she had to sit down. And I want you to imagine this for a moment. Picture yourself sitting quietly at home when a sudden worry, a loud phone call, or a moment of emotional tension sends a wave of pressure through your chest. It happens quickly, silently, and without warning. Most seniors know stress affects the mind, but very few realize how deeply it impacts the heart. Stress hormones can change heart rhythm, blood pressure, and circulation within minutes. The body responds as if it is facing danger, even when the threat is only emotional, and that's where the hidden truth lies. Many sudden heart issues in older adults are not caused by physical activity. They are triggered by emotional or chronic stress that forces the heart to work harder than it is prepared for. The problem is that many seniors misinterpret these signals. They tell themselves the symptoms are just anxiety or simply part of aging, but the heart reacts powerfully to hormones like cortisol and adrenaline, especially after 60, when the cardiovascular system becomes more sensitive. I once worked with a gentleman who jogged lightly every week without any trouble. Yet during a stressful family situation, he felt a sharp flutter in his chest that frightened him far more than any workout ever had. This is why this conversation matters. Stress can trigger heart problems even when your cholesterol is good, your blood pressure looks normal, and you feel generally healthy. You don't have to be overexerting yourself for the heart to struggle. Sometimes the greatest strain comes from moments of emotional tension rather than physical effort. In this video, I want to help you understand the surprising science behind how stress affects your heart, the common stress patterns that quietly harm older adults, the subtle symptoms you should never ignore, and the doctor-approved strategies that can protect your heart in your everyday life. Stay with me, and if this resonates with you, make sure to subscribe to Senior Health Daily so we can continue this journey toward clarity, confidence, and heart strength together. How stress triggers heart problems. Stress is one of the most powerful forces acting on the heart, and most people don't realize just how quickly the body responds to it. When you feel frightened, overwhelmed, tense, or emotionally shaken, your brain sends an instant signal to release two hormones, cortisol and adrenaline. These hormones were designed to protect us long ago by preparing the body to face danger. But in modern life, especially for seniors, they often create more harm than help. When adrenaline enters the bloodstream, the heart begins to beat faster. You may feel this as a flutter, a sudden thump in your chest, or a quickened rhythm that seems out of place. Adrenaline also tightens the blood vessels, making it harder for the heart to push blood through the body. Cortisol arrives shortly after and increases blood pressure while raising the body's demand for oxygen. What begins as a simple, stressful thought can turn into a physiological chain reaction in seconds. This becomes even more complicated after 60. The heart isn't as flexible as it once was. The arteries don't expand as easily. The cardiovascular system requires more oxygen to handle stress, yet the body delivers less because of natural age-related changes. Something as simple as getting startled by a sudden noise, worrying about a bill, or having an uncomfortable conversation can create a sensation of strain that feels out of proportion to the moment. I remember speaking with a woman in her early 70s who felt perfectly fine during her morning walks. But one evening, after a call from her son about a family issue, she felt a wave of pressure sweep through her chest. Her breathing changed, her pulse jumped. She didn't understand how a conversation could make her heart react so strongly. What she experienced was the immediate effect of stress hormones tightening her vessels and driving her heart into overwork. There's a simple scientific measure that reflects how the heart handles stress. It's called heart rate variability, or HRV. In younger adults, HRV is flexible and responsive. In seniors, it naturally decreases. That lower flexibility makes the heart more sensitive to sudden stress. It can't shift gears as quickly or comfortably, which is why emotional triggers so often lead to physical sensations. Understanding this connection is the first step toward taking control of it. Stress is not just a feeling. It's a wave that moves through the entire cardiovascular system. And now that you understand why it happens, the next question becomes what stress can actually do to the heart in real time. Sudden heart issues caused by stress. Stress can move through the body like a quiet storm. It builds slowly, rises quickly, and often strikes in moments when you least expect it. What surprises many seniors is that sudden heart issues are often triggered not by physical strain, but by emotional pressure. A simple worry, an unexpected phone call, or a moment of conflict can place just as much stress on the heart as intense exercise. One of the most common reactions is a sudden change in heart rhythm. When stress hormones surge, the heart can begin beating irregularly. Some seniors describe it as skipping a beat, fluttering like a bird, or thumping harder than usual. These sensations can last only a few seconds, yet they leave people feeling uneasy and uncertain about what just happened. This is the heart reacting to adrenaline, which forces it to beat faster while tightening the blood vessels at the same time. Chest tightness is another reaction many older adults experience during emotional stress. It may not feel like sharp pain. Instead, it shows up as pressure, heaviness, or a feeling that the chest is being gently squeezed. This happens because the heart suddenly needs more oxygen to handle the stress response. But for seniors with stiffer arteries or narrowed vessels, that oxygen can't always arrive in time. What's happening inside the body is a mismatch between supply and demand. Blood pressure can also spike rapidly during stress. Even seniors with excellent numbers during routine checkups may find their pressure jumping during moments of emotional difficulty. The heart encounters resistance as it tries to pump through tightened vessels, and this sudden surge can leave people feeling lightheaded, flushed, or short of breath. A stressful conversation or even a frightening headline in the news can set this process into motion. There are also moments when stress triggers dizziness. When vessels tighten and the heart pushes harder, blood flow to the brain can briefly decrease. A senior might feel the room shift for a moment or experience a wave of unsteadiness. These episodes often pass quickly, which makes them easy to ignore, but they are meaningful signs that the heart is responding to stress more dramatically than it used to. One of the most alarming consequences of stress is its connection to what doctors call silent heart attacks. These are heart attacks that happen without the intense chest pain most people expect. Instead, they may present as fatigue, shortness of breath, nausea, or a feeling of sudden weakness. Older adults are more prone to these silent events, especially when chronic stress has weakened the heart's resilience over time. I once worked with a man in his late 60s who enjoyed peaceful evening walks. One day, he answered a phone call during his walk and received upsetting news from a family member. Within minutes, he felt his heart pounding, his breath becoming shallow, and a sudden tightness that forced him to stop. He wasn't running. He wasn't climbing a hill. He was simply overwhelmed by the emotional weight of that moment. The stress, not the activity, triggered the episode. These sudden reactions are not imaginary. They are the heart's real-time response to stress hormones. When stress arrives quickly, the heart must respond instantly. And if the cardiovascular system is already vulnerable, that response can be overwhelming. The key is recognizing that emotional strain is just as real as physical strain, and both deserve your attention. Now that you understand how stress can trigger immediate heart issues, it's time to look at the hidden long-term risks that build up silently over months or years. Hidden heart risks linked to stress. What makes stress especially dangerous for older adults is not only the sudden reactions it causes, but the long, quiet damage it can create over months or years. Stress doesn't just come and go. It leaves a mark. And when those marks build up slowly, they become risks that many seniors never see until the symptoms become too loud to ignore. Chronic stress, the kind that lingers in the background of daily life, sends a constant stream of stress hormones through the body. Cortisol stays elevated longer than it should. adrenaline pulses more often than the heart can comfortably handle. When this happens repeatedly, inflammation begins to rise inside the blood vessels. Inflammation makes the arteries stiffer, more reactive, and more vulnerable to plaque buildup. Over time, this creates a foundation for serious heart problems that may not show symptoms until much later. One hidden risk is the way stress affects the inner lining of the arteries. In a calm state, this lining helps blood flow smoothly. But under stress, it becomes irritated and less flexible. This irritation makes it easier for cholesterol to stick and harder for vessels to relax. Many seniors think their high cholesterol is only caused by food, but stress can be an equal, if not stronger, contributor. Another risk lies in something many people never associate with the heart: sleep. Chronic stress disrupts sleep patterns by keeping the brain in a state of alertness. Seniors who spend the night tossing, turning, or waking up frequently often blame age. In reality, stress may be the reason. Poor sleep leads to higher blood pressure, reduced oxygen regulation, and increased strain on the heart. Over months or years, these patterns create a slow erosion of cardiovascular resilience. Fatigue is another subtle sign that often goes unnoticed. Stress forces the heart to work harder throughout the day, even during rest. Many older adults describe feeling tired for no clear reason. They may assume they're simply aging, but what they're feeling could be the accumulated weight of stress affecting circulation and oxygen delivery. Headaches, heaviness in the chest, irritability, and difficulty concentrating can also be signs that stress is beginning to influence the heart. These symptoms rarely feel like heart issues, which makes them easy to dismiss. Seniors tell themselves they're dehydrated, or they slept wrong, or they're just having a long day. But when these signs repeat, they can signal that the body is struggling to manage chronic tension. I once met a woman who believed her chest heaviness was caused by poor posture. She felt it mostly in the evenings, especially after long conversations with her adult children or days filled with worry. Her tests showed no immediate threat, but her stress levels were consistently high. Over the following year, that constant stress slowly reduced the flexibility of her arteries. What started as heaviness became occasional tightness, and eventually, she experienced an arrhythmia during an emotionally difficult moment. Her heart was telling her a story long before the episode happened. Emotional stress is often overlooked because it doesn't have the dramatic physical triggers that people expect. But its effects are just as real as high blood pressure or poor diet. The heart doesn't know whether the stress is caused by danger or by worry. It responds the same way, and for seniors, that response can carry greater risks. Understanding these hidden dangers is essential because it helps you recognize the early patterns before they grow into something more serious. And now that we've uncovered the long-term impact of stress, the next question is why seniors are even more vulnerable to these effects than younger adults. Why seniors are more vulnerable to stress-induced heart problems. As we grow older, the heart changes in ways that make it more sensitive to emotional pressure. These changes are natural, gradual, and often subtle, which is why many seniors don't realize that stress affects them more strongly now than it did 10 or 20 years ago. But once you understand how aging reshapes the heart and blood vessels, the connection becomes undeniable. One of the biggest changes is the stiffening of the arteries. When you're younger, your arteries expand and contract easily as blood flows through them. That flexibility protects the heart from sudden surges in pressure. After 60, however, the vessel walls lose much of that elasticity. They become firmer, less responsive, and slower to relax. So when a stressful moment arrives and adrenaline tightens the vessels, the heart has to push against far more resistance. What would have been a mild reaction at 40 becomes a pounding heartbeat at 70. The heart muscle itself also loses some of its flexibility. Instead of relaxing fully between beats, it may tighten or stiffen, especially under emotional tension. This limits how much blood the heart can pump during stressful moments, creating a mismatch between what the body demands and what the heart can deliver. For seniors, this mismatch can trigger chest tightness, breathlessness, or sudden fatigue. Hormonal changes add another layer. As people age, the body becomes less efficient at regulating cortisol, the primary stress hormone. Instead of rising and falling smoothly, cortisol can remain elevated for long periods or spike unpredictably. That means seniors experience longer stress responses than younger adults. Even a brief moment of emotional upset can keep the body in a state of alertness for hours. Sleep challenges are another major factor. Many seniors struggle with lighter sleep, nighttime awakenings, or early morning restlessness. When stress enters the picture, sleep becomes even more fragile. And when sleep suffers, the heart suffers. Poor sleep heightens blood pressure, reduces oxygen balance, and increases inflammation. It also increases sensitivity to stress the next day, creating a cycle that wears down the cardiovascular system over time. Social and emotional factors also play a powerful role. Seniors often carry heavier emotional loads, caregiving responsibilities, health concerns, family worries, loneliness, financial tension. Even a small emotional stressor can feel bigger when there are already multiple layers of pressure beneath the surface. The body can absorb only so much before it begins to react physically. Medications can intensify the impact of stress as well. Steroids, stimulants, decongestants, and certain pain medications can raise heart rate or blood pressure. When combined with emotional strain, they amplify the stress response. Chronic illnesses like diabetes, kidney disease, or arthritis also make the heart more reactive because the body is already working harder to maintain balance. In simple scientific terms, an older heart requires more oxygen during stress, yet the stiffened arteries deliver less. It is the perfect setup for strain. And because these changes happen slowly, many seniors assume their symptoms are just normal aging. In reality, they are often signs that the heart is working overtime during moments of emotional tension. Understanding why seniors are more vulnerable is empowering. It means the sensations you feel are not random. They are not imaginary. They are not weaknesses. They are signals. And when you learn to interpret those signals, you gain the ability to protect your heart with intention and wisdom. Now that you see why the heart becomes more reactive with age, it's time to explore the daily habits that quietly raise heart risk without you realizing it. Daily stress habits that raise heart risk. Stress doesn't always come from dramatic moments. More often, it comes from the quiet habits and patterns we repeat every day without realizing how much they weigh on the heart. These habits feel normal, familiar, even harmless, yet they create a steady strain that builds slowly inside the body. When we look closely at how seniors live, think, and respond to daily life, it becomes clear that many heart issues begin long before any symptoms appear. One of the most common habits is rushing. Many older adults move quickly out of habit, not necessity. They hurry to answer the phone, hurry to get ready, hurry to complete chores, even when there is no real urgency. That subtle pressure to move faster sends a small surge of adrenaline through the body. When this happens multiple times a day, the heart learns to operate in a constant state of tension. Multitasking is another daily stress trigger that often goes unnoticed. Trying to do several things at once, or holding multiple thoughts in your mind, forces the brain to stay alert. Seniors tell themselves they are just keeping busy, but the heart interprets this scattered attention as stress. Over time, this mental busyness becomes a physical burden. Constant worrying is one of the most powerful contributors to heart strain. Whether it's concern about family, finances, health, or the future, the mind can slip into a pattern of repetitive thoughts. These thoughts activate the same hormonal pathways as fear. Even when the body is resting, the heart beats as if it's preparing for something difficult. I once met a woman who felt more chest tightness sitting in her living room than she ever felt during her walks. Her heart wasn't reacting to movement. It was reacting to her thoughts. Exposure to negative news also affects heart health more than people realize. Watching distressing stories, listening to constant conflict, or scrolling through upsetting posts raises cortisol levels. Seniors who consume a lot of stressful media often experience increased blood pressure, restless sleep, and moments of sudden heart strain. The emotional impact of the world becomes a physical weight on the body. Another overlooked habit is emotional suppression. Many older adults were raised to stay calm, stay polite, and keep difficult feelings inside. They avoid expressing sadness, frustration, or anger because they don't want to burden others. But when emotions have nowhere to go, they build pressure within the chest and nervous system. Suppressed stress lingers, and the heart absorbs the impact. Skipping meals or eating irregularly also creates stress for the body. When blood sugar drops, the heart compensates by increasing heart rate to maintain energy flow. Seniors who get busy, forget to eat, or lose appetite during stressful days may feel shaky, lightheaded, or experience palpitations. Poor sleep has a similar effect. Short nights or fragmented rest make the body more reactive the next day. Even minor stressors feel heavier when the brain is tired and the heart is overworked. Dehydration is another daily habit that quietly burdens the heart. Many seniors don't drink enough water, especially during emotional tension. When the body is dehydrated, the blood becomes slightly thicker. The heart must pump harder to circulate it, which magnifies the effects of stress hormones. A senior may feel tightness or fatigue simply because the body is trying to push thicker blood through stiffened arteries. I recall a gentleman who told me he felt chest pressure after arguments with his adult son, but felt perfectly fine during his morning exercise. His heart was not reacting to physical strain. It was reacting to emotional overload. The moment his feelings were triggered, his body entered a stress response, raising his heart rate and tightening his chest. His story is far more common than most people realize. These habits may seem small, but they create a constant background stress that weakens the heart's resilience over time. The good news is that each one can be changed. Awareness alone is a powerful first step. And once you understand how daily patterns shape your heart health, you are ready to learn the tools that can protect your heart from the inside out. Doctor-approved ways to protect the heart from stress. Now that we've explored the daily habits and emotional pressures that quietly strain the heart, I want to shift your attention to something far more hopeful. Your heart is not fragile, it is responsive. It can strengthen, calm, and rebalance itself when given the right support. Even in your 60s, 70s, or 80s, your heart can become more resilient. The key lies in simple, intentional practices that soothe the nervous system and reduce the impact of stress hormones. One of the most powerful tools is controlled breathing. When you take slow, steady breaths, you activate the vagus nerve, which signals the heart to relax and restore its natural rhythm. I often tell my patients to practice a simple breathing pattern whenever they feel tension rising. Inhale gently through the nose for 4 seconds, hold for 1, and exhale for 6. The longer exhale tells the heart that the body is safe. This single practice has helped countless seniors reduce chest tightness, calm palpitations, and regain control during stressful moments. Gentle movement also plays a vital role in protecting the heart. Walking, stretching, and Tai Chi help circulate blood more efficiently and release built-up tension from the muscles. Unlike intense exercise, gentle movement doesn't shock the cardiovascular system. Instead, it supports it. Many seniors find that a 10-minute stretching session in the morning or a slow evening walk helps them sleep better and feel less reactive emotionally throughout the day. Movement gives stress somewhere to go. Reducing stimulants is another important step. Caffeine, sugary snacks, and heavy meals can amplify the body's stress response. They raise heart rate, disrupt digestion, and increase cortisol levels. Seniors who limit coffee in the afternoon or replace sugary treats with healthier snacks often notice a calmer heartbeat and more stable energy. Even small adjustments, like drinking more water or spacing out meals, can make the heart feel lighter. Improving sleep routines is equally transformative. Going to bed at the same time each night, limiting screens before bedtime, and creating a calm, sleeping environment help the body reset from the stress of the day. A well-rested brain handles emotional tension more gently, which means the heart doesn't have to work as hard the next morning. When sleep improves, everything improves. Social connection is another form of medicine. Loneliness elevates cortisol and increases the risk of heart disease, while connection does the opposite. Talking with a friend, spending time with family, joining a senior group, or even sharing a moment with a neighbor can ease emotional pressure. Humans are wired for connection, and the heart thrives when we feel supported. One of the most important skills for seniors is learning to listen to the body early. If your chest feels tight, if your breathing changes, if your heart flutters or your energy dips suddenly, don't push through it. Pause. Sit down. Breathe deeply. These signals are invitations to slow down, not warnings to ignore. When you respond early, you prevent bigger issues from forming. Throughout my years of caring for seniors, I've seen small moments of calm create enormous improvements in heart health. You don't need dramatic lifestyle changes or intense routines. You simply need consistent, gentle habits that tell your heart, day after day, you're safe, you can rest now. A calmer mind creates a calmer heart, and a calmer heart creates a longer, healthier, more peaceful life. As we come to the end of this journey together, I want you to take a moment and look inward with compassion. Every signal your body has sent you, every moment of tightness or flutter or sudden fatigue, has never been a sign of failure. Stress is not your enemy. It is simply a message, a gentle whisper from your heart asking for care, attention, and understanding. When you begin to hear it that way, everything about your health changes. Your heart is far more resilient than you may realize. Even in your 70s or 80s, it is capable of healing, strengthening, and finding its rhythm again. I've watched seniors transform their lives with small, steady changes that brought calm into their days. It doesn't take perfection. It doesn't take drastic routines. It takes a few quiet moments of breathing, a gentle walk, a meaningful conversation, and a willingness to slow down when your heart asks you to. You have carried your heart through a lifetime of challenges and joys. It has supported you through every milestone, every loss, every victory, and every season of your life. You deserve to honor it with gratitude. You deserve to give it rest, protection, and gentle care. And above all, you deserve a calm heart and a peaceful life. If there is one message I want you to take with you, it is this. Your body is not giving up. It is guiding you. It is asking you to create small pockets of calm each day so it can continue supporting you for years to come. Stress may be powerful, but your awareness, your choices, and your resilience are even stronger. Thank you for spending this time with me. If you found this helpful and want more guidance, comfort, and clarity on your journey to long-term heart health, I invite you to subscribe to Senior Health Daily so we can continue walking this path together. Your heart deserves this care, and so do you.